As part of my new table saw, I wanted to have a place to put a router table permanently. I had a temporary one that I would put on my table saw, my previous one, but now I think it's time to get one set up for good. So we're gonna modify this a little bit, add some things to it, and get a router table built in.
I want to have it here on the right hand side of the table. So if we measure, we've got 27 inches. And we have this T-slot that we can mount, these holes on the side that we can mount it, but we don't have anything on the back, so that's a problem to figure out later.
I'm gonna use this scrap piece of plywood because it's nice and sturdy, but it is ever so slightly taller than that fence. So that's another problem we need to overcome.
I want to make a little box underneath the router table. So that's what we will attach to the wing of the table saw. Now underneath, we will have some elongated holes where we attach it to the 2 screws here and those 3 holes over here that we talked about earlier. That way there will be some vertical adjustment if needed. I've got a scrap piece of plywood here that I'm going to use to make the sides of the box. Then for the sides of the box, we just need to measure that out, set the fence, and then add a little bit more. For the sake of safety, I decided that I was going to put a little stop block here so that when I'm running the boards through the blade, it won't get any kickback. We measure out and cut the top for the router table. To attach the top to the box, I'm just going to use pocket holes. They're quick and easy, and I know this isn't a big fancy pocket hole jig, but this little guy does just as good of a job. Next, we need to make those elongated holes in these boards. I did that by drilling 2 holes right next to each other, and then running the drill bit back and forth in between the 2. Now the holes in these sheet metal wings were just too small for the bolts that I have, so I had to widen them a bit.
So as I'm sitting here test fitting this piece, I'm realizing I didn't think about the thickness of the plywood. Come on, man. So these holes need to move up about 3/4 of an inch or the thickness of this plywood. Here we go.
Now once this thing is tightened down, the fence will clear the top just enough. And as I move the camera down, you can see just a sliver of light that gives you just the perfect clearance that you need.
Since I don't have holes here, right now I have this just held up with a clamp. I want to make a little lip right here. The problem is when we bring this forward, you can see that bearing that rides on the back. So there's only a little bit of room right there with this, and I'm just going to use some pin nails and use it to rest on the top. Because this is pine, I don't want to split it. I'm just going to use my 23 gauge pin nailer to put some structure in there. Hopefully hold this thing up. Well, this is my first modification to this table saw. I have a couple more in mind, but not there yet. You'll notice that this router table doesn't have a router in it. That's just because I ran out of time. So make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you think I've earned it. That way you can know whenever I post that next video. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.